Hey educators, welcome to my channel Tea and Teacher. In our series of Invisible Education Everyday Heroes, today we have Miss Naina Budwar with us. In this series, we try to get heroes who are less known and learn from their vast experiences. So today, Miss Naina will be sharing her valuable knowledge with us. Welcome, Miss Naina.
Thank you, Maria ma'am, for this immense, immensely, I would say, what a platform that you have, taken to outshine the teachers, I would say.
Thank
It
you.
is such a valuable thing. These days, teachers are not recognized as heroes. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity that you have given it to me.
Thank you. Before we proceed, let me introduce Ms. Naina Budwar. Ms. Naina Budwar is an enthusiastic educator, trainer, and mentor to many children. She has done her MA in English and her B.Ed, and also is a BBA person. She has been in the field of education from the last 10 years and gathered her vast knowledge from which we will be learning today. She believes in learning new things and uh, has a belief that the classroom should not be restricted to a room. She also believes that the holistic development of the student is the key to survive the world. And the best view, what I liked about her is that she says that everyone has a lifetime experiences, but only few manage to make the most of it. So I also have the same. My motto is always the same, Nana ma'am. I always believe, whatever the opportunity comes, grab it and make the most of it. So do not leave any opportunity and make it a lifetime event. So
Yes.
let's start. Now I'm going to bombard you with the questions. So first question would be, let me know what are your expertise.
Okay. See, ma'am, it would be very monotonous to say, I like English or I like, grammar. But, the expertise that as a person, as a teacher, that think is an effective listening skill. If I cannot be a good listener, I cannot be a good orator. I remember this very line from my teacher while I was a student. So she used to tell me this thing: first listen, Anna, first listen. So because earlier I was all in a habit of, first I will tell. It's like, first bencher, he used to sit and raise hand and say, I will speak. First listen. If you cannot listen, you cannot speak, you cannot answer. So, the expertise that I would say is we should be really good, effective listening skills we should develop. Secondly, in today's world where we have so much to do, that the platforms are so many, and especially this pandemic, which has taken out, I think, the best in us, right? So we have explored so many various streams. So we know that there's so much, but then we say there are only 24 hours,
Yeah.
right, in a day. So planning of that is really important. So it's not only that you keep on listening, when will you implement, how will you implement, that is more important. So the planning is another skill that I especially look up to, because I have a separate diary, and then there are Google Notes, you pull up, you write in that, and then you can plan it up. Then we say that we have so many seminars, and yes, they are really beneficial as to another level altogether. But the practical knowledge is missing from the seminars that we attend. Sometimes we say, we should have this in the classroom, but do we actually understand this? Okay, what our students want? Okay, we will say we have to make it child centric or whatever, a student centric class. But do we actually really feel the practical awareness towards it? How do they expect us to do it? So that is one thing which I really go down to the level of the child to understand. I keep them in mind. I just wear their shoes for that time. A 40-45 minutes, I am a student. That level I have to go down and teach them, or just tell them that this is what is right or wrong. We,
Well,
in a world where everything is quite gray, we need to bifurcate things also for them.
Right.
And yes, the most important task of a teacher that one should expertise in is, you should work well under pressure. So much of pressure these days. You have this to do, so many deadlines. But I guess the people who work, under pressure, uh, are the teachers. They work wonders under pressure. I've seen, the team working in a manner where, when a lot of time was given, they were reluctant to do it. Even for that
Yeah.
sake, the students also. But when we give them deadlines, it is done, and it is done in a jiffy, I would say. So,
Oh,
the expertise, if I would summarize, is you should have good listening skills, you should be planned, you should have those practical awareness towards things, as well as you should work under pressure and work to your best. It's not that scratching your head, but work best under pressure.
I think the pressure gives you growth, right?
Yes.
Pressure gives you growth. Okay, ma'am, my
Yes.
next question is, what motivated you to take up the job of a teacher?
I would say I never wanted to be one, honestly. I never wanted to be one. If you see my education also, till 12th, I was a PCB. I then went into, biology. I left biology completely, and then I joined BBA course, which is a management course. While I was in the management course, because I switched from a science stream to a commerce stream. So it was a little difficult in the first year of my graduation. But
Mhm.
then, second year onwards, I started teaching my friends. So it
Okay.
is from that time, when I realized that no, I have it in me, wherein I can, just give that information and in a manner that the person is understanding. So I felt that if I can make my peer group understand, then of course I can, work more towards this kind of a profession instead of going in for a management degree or so. And I started enjoying that. And again, to just remember my biology teacher, she's no more. God bless her for that. But she told me once, and that was a normal saying in her class, that if you are a teacher, or if you are somebody who has knowledge, you should never be, hiding that knowledge, or you should never cover up the knowledge. It's like a candle. If you have the flame, then you should not hide or cover it. You should light up the entire room. So she had put that in me. I think somewhere, we say teachers make a difference. And in my life, they were different teachers, and they've made a lot of difference. So I remember each one of them, and I owe them also a lot. So, when we put the career before, if we put a career before, or if we put, money before, then we cannot become good educators. So an educator is the one who, should forget about money first of all. And you should not even think about the career there. You should, if you are focusing on a student, if you're focusing on the education, then that's the job of a teacher.
Oh,
So that's what, exactly motivated me.
okay, that's great. Ma'am, my next question would be like, according to you, what should a teacher do to make her classroom communicative? Usually, you will find there are some children who will not communicate, or there is a lack of communication from the part of the teacher. So, what, according to you, should a teacher do, to make her class communicative?
Okay, see, communication, coming from management, a graduate, I would say communication is a two-way process, which is a very, normal thing that we hear. But communication, as I said earlier also, is actually an art of hearing. Okay, communication is the art of hearing as well as being heard. So it is two way. When I start speaking, when I start interacting with my students, or they start interacting with me, I should not impose my thoughts on them, first of all. So it should not be a closed classroom, first of all. Okay, and it's not that we enter the class and in a monotonous way, okay, let's study this chapter or so, right? We shouldn't be focusing on that stage. We know we have to finish off the syllabus. That is one thing. But if we begin the class, in a manner which is more interactive, and not exactly introducing the chapter by the name, but taking out, this is the experience I would like to share, and I want to know your experience. Like today only, I started a poem with grade 11th, which is childhood. Okay, and instead of giving it away, like today we are going to start the poem Childhood, I asked, what do you think a childhood is? So, they can connect in that way. So that is how we take it out from them. And most of the students, ma'am, they want to speak. They have a lot within them, especially the higher grades. They want to interact a lot, because when we say English, it's the most expressive language,
Yeah.
right? So they want to interact, they want to speak, but being, in maths, science, accounts, lectures, they're restricted, because there they have to solve a lot, they have to pay attention to the formulas. But when it comes to an English class, if we give them the platform to communicate, if we give them the platform to speak, then only we take out the best in them, and we understand what exactly our students want, and what do they have, and what are their expertise, I would say.
Okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Because the teenage students are always, confused. So if you give them time,
Definitely.
and the opportunity, they are very nice in expressing. So it's the teacher's
Right.
duty to give them that opportunity. My next question is, ma'am, that can you suggest how teachers can create student-centric classrooms?
All right. Okay, if I say a student-centric classroom, what do we exactly mean by the term as, student-centric classroom? We all say, ma'am, we are teaching for the students. It is a student-centric classroom only, no? We are teaching students, we are giving them information. That means it's a student-centric classroom. But actually, the concept is, are we actually going down to their level to understand how they want us to deliver? Right, we know that there are different types of learners. We have read about it in so many books, so many seminars we've conducted. We know about this like anything: audio, visual, kinesthetic, XYZ. We have so many different kinds of learners. But are we actually catering to each one in the class? When we say I make my class interactive, so that means I'm just focusing on to one person or one kind of students, right?
Hmm.
But at the same moment, if I tell them that, you have to speak now, or maybe you watch a video now, or maybe let's go out and study, right? One of my colleagues recently was teaching a chapter in 10th standard, which is Madam Rides the Bus, right? So she had taken the students to sit in the bus. So that's how she conducted her lesson. So that experience in itself, like not only keeping them in the closed classroom, yes, by just literature, speaking, reading out, doesn't solve the purpose. So student centric classroom means you have to go down to their level, understand how they will understand, instead of just reading the chapter out to them. Secondly, yeah, back when we were having those online lectures also, right? Students were facing a real tough time. Yes, teachers, warriors, they were facing a lot of trouble. But along with that, we have to understand, students do not want to turn on the camera when it's an online lecture. And that is a problem which each one of us has faced. So, there was a small little trick in my class that I used to do is that I had this song, which is, a senior KG or a junior KG level song. It's a good morning song, and it's
Hmm.
quite peppy.
Okay.
So I had made this a rule that, as I entered, I used to play the song, and the signal for them was that now you have to turn on the camera.
Okay.
And they were so happy, because they were like, ma'am, somebody is actually understanding that we are kids, and not only telling, let's finish the syllabus, let's finish the syllabus. So they really enjoyed this part. So that is something where it we understand now. Not alone, like last year I was teaching them economics as well. So we had a part of economics where I had to tell them about, how you have to invest and where to invest, and little bit I had to take them away from the topic also. So that time we had conducted this activity in the class, which was Shark Tank. So in that, they had formed groups, and I must tell you, they came up with such huge ideas. I mean, we couldn't imagine what kind of ideas they were coming up with, and they really understood. And the parents were giving me a call, ma'am, they are talking so much about investment, and they are getting into the nitty gritties of it, because they are telling ki, ma'am will question, we have to be prepared with all sorts of questions that can be shooted, and we want ma'am to invest. So it is just, I'm not investing but it's like I will show that interest to invest. So that is what they like. So a student centric classroom is how to deliver a lecture wherein they can grasp the maximum out of it.
Okay, that's nice. Very nice input given, ma'am.
Thank
See,
you.
if you go to see, the higher secondary students are going through lots of biological changes. So how do you,
Yes.
and then sometimes they're disinterested in learning or studies. So how do you think a teacher can motivate, the higher secondary students?
Okay. See, first of all, ma'am, higher secondary students are no more students that age.
Hmm.
They want to have that kind of, a friendly relationship, wherein we as teachers also need to know where the line is, as well as they need to know what line not to cross, but still they need to be friends with us. So when it comes to the motivation, if I tell them that you have to study English, and if I don't tell them that what is the importance of it, why do you need to study it, they will not listen to us. They will definitely, just say another English lecture, ma'am will teach literature and she's gonna go away. Right. So if we don't explain them that why is it important, they need to know the why of everything, first of all, at that age. Ki
Yeah.
why this, why that, why in maths we have trigonometry or whatever. They need to know the why of everything. And if we don't answer that, then it kills, that we say another curiosity will kill the cat. So it actually kills that thing within them and they lose interest. So the best way to motivate a child to study is first why is it important. Like I tell that in the class, and I've heard also my teachers also telling the same thing, that why is English important? Why in today's world? So I tell them this very simple thing. You may become engineers, you may become doctors, you may become you take any profession, but if you don't know how to communicate, you have made a game but you don't know how to present it to your client, then it is of no use. It would just be lying on your system and it's of no use if you cannot explain. So if you are not able to deliver there, that's the use of English. Why do you need it? That's the reason why you need. And then they started, gradually they started showing that interest. Like one of my student wants to be a footballer. I said, you will be a great one. I gave that spark to him, you will be a great one. But what if somebody comes with a mic and he wants you to take your interview and you're not able to speak a word? You'll be shattered that time. So that's the reason why you should know the language. So then they started understanding. That's how little bit of motivation drives them to the correct path, just by saying you have it in you but not telling them why and how. That WH of everything is very important for them these days. They need to know it, and we as teachers need to also tell them that just don't study the theory, get into the practical world and see its implementation as well.
That's great. Indeed, a valuable lesson you have shared, like how teachers can motivate these, higher secondary students, because I think these are the students who are very confused every time, and, they
Right.
need, and if you have a right mentor like for them, then it really can motivate them. So I think there should be more teachers like you. My next
Thank you so
question
much.
is, what difficulties you face while dealing with, teenage students, or do you have any experience, while you have gone through, like, handling such type of situation?
Okay. As if now I would say I'm a very lucky one to cross my fingers. Never faced a very, very difficult situation where my students have landed me in. They have always kept me in that loop, that I'm telling this to ma'am and I know she's going to save us or so. But that is something, leaving that aside, I have seen, or I've seen my colleagues also, they face some situations wherein students say they're not interested in that subject. Like, for example, if it is English also, I would say, they don't feel that language is an important subject for them. So the problem with teenagers is that I know, and they think that they are the know it all of everything, be it language, be it any other subject also, for that sake. They think they know it all, and they have the entire knowledge of all subjects, and the teacher standing there is not having that kind of knowledge that they want. That is the first thing that gets into their head, that I know this, I have done this wherever, but she is standing there and giving us the same repeated information which I already know. but then, making them understand why are we repeating that, or why are we delivering that lecture to them, why are we teaching them a particular concept, is very, very important. As if for a teenager, just by saying that, just by saying that you should have a robotics class, or just by saying that you should have an IT lecture, or you should have a games lecture, or for that sake a music lecture. Now the child is saying, a 10th standard will say, ma'am, I don't want to waste time on music, I have to focus on my academics. This is a very clear cut notions, and that not only with the students, it is with, the parents as well these days. Ma'am, please take away the music lectures, we don't want them, they should have more of academics.
Yeah.
Now, we as parents also, I would say, we should understand, all Jack and no trade will make Jack a dull boy. We need to understand that every time we keep on pressurizing them, do this, study this, solve this sum, write this paragraph, or give this formula, ratify this particular biology thing, XYZ, anything. We need to give them a breather, as we say. If we don't give them that breather, they're not going to flourish in the world outside, I would say. They're not going to bloom. Like, as in for the Diwali break that I had, students were saying, ma'am, what is the homework? I said, no homework. It is Diwali break. 5 days, don't do anything. No studies, close it, enjoy. Come back with a fresh mind.
Right.
And when we say that, come back with a fresh mind, it means, a lot to them. They say, teacher is respecting me. So one thing that we should understand is, we as teachers need to respect their feelings. They are individuals. All right, they have their own feelings. We say your class is like this. No, they are individuals. If we have an issue with a child, if we have an issue, we have some concerns with a child, we need to address them at a personal go. They don't want to be addressed in a classroom, I would say. They just want ki, ma'am, you can speak that to me personally also. They would also like. So one issue with teenagers also is that, they take things at face value. If we tell them something, demeaning in the class, okay, you didn't finish your work, you get out. So they will not take it. We have to respect them, and then only we will earn the respect also. So a teenage issue is give respect and get respect.
Very nice. Very nice, ma'am. Very nice input shared. I think all the teachers would be really happy when they'll watch this video. Whatever valuable experience you are sharing for the younger students, it's very difficult for the teenagers to handle the teenagers by, the teachers cannot handle the teenagers, and they just, label them, which is not good.
Right,
My next
right.
question is, ma'am, online and offline teaching, which is better according to you? Quickly, in short.
In short, if I would say, online teaching gives us, many platforms. It saves a lot of time, but then offline, you connect with the students better. So I will always vouch for an offline lecture instead of an online one.
This is what all the teachers have, given their inputs by saying yes, offline, because that personal touch and connect of the teacher is very important.
Yes, true.
My next question is, can you give some suggestions how, since English has been your language, how can English teachers make their lessons more interesting in their classroom?
Okay, be it an English lecture, or I would say be it any other subject also, for that sake, we should break the monotony. If we introduce one chapter in a certain way, we should never introduce the other chapter in that way. Okay,
Okay.
if I enter the class, I ask a question. Okay, how was the weather outside? Nice, no? Okay, so we are going to start with summers. This is the chapter that we have today. So instead of, every time giving the same kind of thing, we should break the monotony. Sometimes you become the reader, sometimes let the students become the reader. Sometimes you be the speaker, let the students be the speaker, and you be the listener. So it has to be, both the ways, and the ball has to swing properly, then only there'll be a balance. Okay, then only there'll be a balance. Introducing various games, right? Refreshing the class instead of just saying, come on, sit down, write the notes.
Hmm.
First, take out the answers from them, understand how they feel, right? Like, right now, like CBSE has done, more of critical thinking based questions. They have started using them. So that's the whole thing. The concept behind that is to understand how the child has understood that chapter, instead of just the rote learning and telling them you memorize a chapter. Let them understand how they have understood that chapter. Convert a chapter into dialogue writing, convert the chapter into a diary entry. Ask them, they will come up with such beautiful diary entries that you will be spellbound reading them. They have immense amount of things to write on a paper. So they are, we give them that platform, and then they will write down prolifically, I would say.
Okay. Ma'am, my next question is, how much does technology and content matter for a teacher in the current teaching scenario?
In the current teaching scenario, technology, yes, is really important. As I said, online, of course, it has opened various platforms. It has taught us a lot of things. Yes, and in a positive aspect, it has taught us a lot of things also. Yes, there were negatives. Yes, the students were turning off the cameras with ma'am, there is no network or so. Those were the negatives that we can keep us aside. But with technology, we as teachers have also evolved a lot. We have started using various platforms wherein we were not aware that we can get, we can help out the students in that manner. And content is always a king. Content is always the king for any teacher, I would say. Not only for me, it's a
Yes.
king for everybody. Nobody, nothing can take the place. Even the technology cannot take the place of the content a teacher has to deliver. So content is a priority at any go.
Okay. Ma'am, my next question is, why, according to you, the team work matters in the school for teachers and what they can do about it? Very quick response.
The teachers can do wonders with teamwork, right? Instead of sticking themselves to a closed room and just working to themselves, if they work in a team, they can help out each other in a in the maximum amount of manner. A helping hand is never, it will never go in vain. So it's always important to work as a team. Sometimes I might not know how to deliver a particular grammar topic or a literature topic, but if I observe my colleague and I gain out of it, so that is something which I can imbibe, and I can also give my best to the students, which who are our priority, for whom we have turned as teachers, I would say. So that should be there. And never and it should not be that I shouldn't be learning from my junior or so. If she or he has a better thing to deliver, we should always take it in a very positive manner.
Yeah, learning can happen, like there is no age factor for learning also, so you can learn from
No,
anyone,
not at all.
even your own students, you learn many things. Okay, ma'am, my next
Yes,
question is, what is the most stressing factor in the teaching job? If
I
you
have to say, I have to say that we are in a rat race of completing the syllabus, wherein when we have so much to deliver in a very limited amount of time, that is something which is really stressing for a teacher. They tell me, and even I have faced this, that ma'am, we want to explain this also, we want to go into detail this also, but there is no time. Ma'am, you are telling us to complete this chapter in this time, and it's not possible. So one very important thing is the rat race of completing the syllabus, having on time those exams. And exam numbers are increasing, just so many in a year. Earlier we were having just 2 exams in a year, now we have 4 exams, 5 exams in a year. So that is something which is really cumbersome for a teacher.
Ma'am, one more question was, like, what are the steps what you take to make sure that your students are understanding the lesson? Any one or two tips if you can give us?
Yeah, so the first whenever we have trainings for teachers or so, we hear that you have to take the recapitulation of the chapter, which is very important. It is something your students will actually take it away from the class when you are leaving. So it is a recapitulation is a must. So when you enter the class, to revise what happened a day prior or a lesson prior, And after that, when you're ending up the lecture, then recapitulating whatever happened during that lecture is the key to, making your students aware that, you have to sit on not only physically but mentally also in the class. So this is one thing which can, which is a takeaway for the students. And not importantly, that we always give them a written homework. We believe in a lot of written homeworks or so. It's not important that we only give them a written homework. Sometimes you can just tell them to just read the chapter and come, or just gather up the information about this thing and just come back with it. So that ways you can make them, with you, take them along with you in the lecture. Otherwise they're going to say again a written homework, which is not very, very important. But we should focus on all the kinds of learners when we say. So that ways, you can ensure that students understand the lesson properly.
Okay. That's great, ma'am. Very nice, valuable, important information you have shared to the teachers, that how they can uh, improve their lesson, and lesson plans, and make it, better, and ensure that the students understand it. My next question is, ma'am, like, what is the one advice you would like to give to the aspiring teachers?
I would say the advice that I would like to give the teachers is a quote. I remember from uh, I think Spider-Man it was, and with great powers come great responsibilities. So if you are taking up this task, it's not an easy one. So you have the future in your hand of the students, right? So with that, you should never take it that lightly, and you should not burden also. So both the ways, you should know how to balance it up, and you should enjoy it. So the more you enjoy that part of teaching, the better way you can deliver your lectures, and you can make your teaching more interactive and happy and joy amongst the students, and not just a boring lecture as we hear. So
That's
with
that's
great power, great responsibilities. So please, teachers, whosoever is inspiring to be one, needs to be grounded, which is very, very important. And just think that once you were also students.
Yes, that's very nice, ma'am. This is all I wanted, to you to share the valuable experience of yours, and I'm glad that you have given lots of inputs, where the aspiring teachers would be learning, and even the teachers who are working would be learning, and getting the benefits of what you have shared today on this channel. So, on behalf of my channel Tea and Teacher, I would like to thank you, Miss Nana, for guiding the aspiring teachers now. And I think your quote was very good, and I hope the teachers take it very seriously, whoever is working today or are going to become the teachers, and would like follow you. So thanks a lot, Nana ma'am, for joining me on my channel. Thank you once again, and be the one you are. I hope all the best for your future endeavors. So that's
Thank you
all
so
from
much
my
for having
channel.
me with you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all from Tea and Teacher. If you like the content, what we are sharing, and um, do encourage and try to, give more importance to the everyday heroes of education, which are our own teachers, who are making the future generations. Thank you.